Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here. Welcome back to another Brave 9 video. Alright, finally, I think it's about time for me to make a new and updated guide for the 2021 Jumpstart Quest. A lot of you guys have been anticipating or have been asking me to do this. Now, the reason why I wanted to wait for a little bit is because I want to see where the Sigmund and Venaka meta is going. Now, if you guys are not aware, these two are the latest addition to the companion plus 15 variant of the mercenary units, and currently I would say they are probably the strongest 5 stars in the meta right now, right, comparing to what we have previously. So before Sigmund and Venaka, so obviously the Dominus Octo was dominating. We have the new batches, the second batch, Mamone, we have Vals, we have Asmod, and we have Velfen making it into the second wave of the Octo batches, which makes the first batch of Octo somewhat, I would say somewhat obsolete, at least in the higher meta. In the lower meta, you can still see Believ, you can still see Seto, for sure. Lucius is still very common down there, but once you go high, you would know that those units are probably irrelevant because they can't compete with the latest thing in the meta right now. They get destroyed by Alec, get destroyed by Vals, etc. So hopefully this video we can clear some things up. Again, I want to put a disclaimer that I'm making this video as of around February to March of 2021. Now if you are watching this 6 months down the road, if you're watching this, probably 8-9 months down the road, or if you're watching this in 2022, please keep in mind that the meta in this game is always circling around, it's always switching, it's always changing. With that out of the way, let's jump into the first order of the Jumpstart Quest. Okay, so I believe you start off at level 1 with a 4-star supporter. I guess we'll just go through this, just a very quick one. So, for 4-star supporters, I believe these are your choices. Alright, you have Ceres, Serendia, John, Naresa, Serubia, Cubic, Elijah, Vincent, Ebony, and Anais. So in my opinion, out of all of these, probably the one that makes the most sense is Ceres. Now, she recently got her companion as well, which is Ava, and she has been amazing, extremely good in Novice Arena. I would say she should be your first priority. Now, second priority, after you have selected Ceres, damn, now that's a tough one. I'm gonna say Ebony. Ebony is really strong, alright? She can do the same thing as Ceres in terms of the immunity. Both of them give the same amount of immunity, which is stats weakening and attack interference immunity. But if you're looking of something that's more niche, might be situationally useful, I would say Serubia is probably going to be the one, because right now in the game, she's the only character that can modify tile range. Alright, what do I mean by that? When warriors or defenders attack, they have either front or skip tile or hits the most rare or back, right? Serubia has the ability to modify your allies who hits skip or hits the most rare to front. And this is invaluable. You don't really get this on a lot of character. So currently in the game, Serubia is the only unique one that has this ability. Now, it can come in handy for sure when it comes to some stages of Evil Castle, maybe in Guild Wars. So if you're thinking of Serubia as a second option, I would say she's a decent pick, but I would still recommend Ceres as a first option, maybe Ebony a second, and I'll put Serubia at the third one. Alright, so going on to the 4-star Magician. Now, this is going to be pretty straightforward. The best one is still Hell. If you are new, Hell is going to help you in a lot of situations. Unfortunately, most of these still have not received companion outside of Esther. Esther is the only 4-star Magician on this list that has received her companion, and she's the only one that can be upgraded up to plus 15. The rest of this character has yet to receive, plus 15 variant. So I would say Esther is a safe pick, Hell is a safe pick. These two are really good. Now going into the next one, we have the 5-star warrior. Now this is where it gets complicated, and I know a lot of people are going to look at the old meta, and if you are in the lower ranks, you will see a lot of Dalby, you will see a lot of Ilenia, and I highly suggest you guys stay away from all these old meta ranks. Alright, if you care about climbing the arena ladder, if you care about moving forward, getting more diamonds in the future, start building Sigmund, start focusing on Jin. Now this Sigmund and Jin, they are both very strong in the current meta now because of Venaka, and if you focus on them, you're going to be way ahead compared to those they are not willing to follow the meta and those that want to pick their waifu, which is Dalby or whatever, right? You're going to be way ahead of them. So if you care about those things, about progressing in the game and actually moving forward, because eventually you're gonna get every character anyways if you intend to play the game for long, right? So I would say Sigmund is probably the best choice right here, followed by Jin. Now the reason why I play Sigmund in a higher priority than Jin is because you don't really need Jin at high skill level. Sigmund scales better with skill level compared to Jin. Jin is a really good unit, but I would say if you can get him at +0, that would save you a little bit of time. You don't really need to rush Jin to +15, but Sigmund at +15 is just invaluable. Like I mentioned, he scales really well with skill level, and he can deal, currently he's the warrior in the game that can deal the highest amount of fixed damage. Alright, so moving on. For the 5-star companion selection ticket, obviously just pick whoever that you intend to +15. I would recommend Sigmund in this case. Sigmund's companion, which is Audrey. 4-star warrior. Alright, so let's have a look. Out of this list, okay, it's a bit complicated. There are a few options right here. There are a few units that already received their companion, which can enable them to be +15. And that includes Rydell, Nia, Alch, and Yunram, right? But I'm gonna say for most players, if you are new to the game, Corette is going to be the best pick. Alright, her skip, cross tile, X tile is really invaluable, and it helps you in a lot of the campaign stages. And if you are new, that is where your focus is going to be. Corette can still be used in the Novice Arena for sure, but at the end of the day, most of the time when you're watching this guy, I'm going to assume that you are new, completely new. Campaign and Evil Castle is going to be the focus most of the time, and Corette is going to help you tackle those game modes. If you have already picked Corette, or if you have already owned Corette, the next one that you can consider picking, I would say Rydell. You will see a lot of usage for her. She is very useful in the Evil Castle, and you will see a lot of situations where you really need her tile range. There's just not many units that can do what she does, you know, in terms of the skip tile, long eye tile range. So I would say Corette and maybe Rydell or Lian as a second pick. Now going on to the 4-star defender, this is going to be a lot more straightforward. Till now, Iris is still dominating in the meta, so I would say Iris should be your priority or your first pick, followed by perhaps Martina because she is really strong, and maybe Denarisa in the third one because she is flexible, where she can be used in almost anywhere. Okay, so when it comes to your first legendary, right? So this is where we need to talk about this. At level 10, I would highly recommend if you can pick Mamone or Velfen, this is going to be the better one. I believe you can pick from either group, alright, it doesn't matter. But for legendaries, here's what my suggestions would be like. Pick Mamone. Alright, if you are new to the game, pick Mamone. She is going to be the cheapest one and probably the best candidate currently. Now between Mamone and Velfen, I would say they are both equal. At a higher upper ceiling, Velfen is going to seem really strong, but that's only at +15 because of his tile range and everything, and runes as well. Velfen scales really good along with runes. But Mamone is going to be cheaper for most players, and getting a legendary to +15, if you are new to the game, it's going to take you at least, you know, 5 to 6 months even. It's going to be a while, alright? It's going to be a while. If you are super unlucky in gacha, you won't be able to obtain your companions for a few months. So I would say go for Mamone. She's going to scale way better. She's really strong even at +12 to 13-ish. So she's going to have that budget price tag on her compared to someone like Velfen. Now while we are here, let's talk about the second legendary that you should pick after picking Mamone. I would say go for the 6 Devils. Now this is going to be tied between 3 characters right now. Now Grand Hildair is really strong. Alec is an extreme powerhouse, probably the strongest warrior in the game with 3 tile direct damage. And also we have Raphithia, which is really beginner friendly, especially if you're new to the game. Her tile range is still invaluable, something that you cannot replace. Now since Mamone is going to be your solo defender, I'm going to say do not pick Grand. Choose either Alec or Raphithia. But I'm going to also recommend you guys to pick Venaka later on for your 5-star supporter, which we're going to jump into shortly, right? So yeah, it's really going to fit into the team or supporters that you have. I would say for most players right now, starting in 2021, pick Alec. Alec is going to be really strong just because I'm going to say pick Venaka in the supporter section, and they pair really well, alright? And in terms of the last dominant stock that you're gonna pick between Seto and Belial, I would still say go for Seto. Seto is really good, doesn't need buffs, has reflective fixed damage counter, and is still really strong in PvE, Campaign and Evil Castle, but he is starting to fall off in PvP. Okay, so let's talk about the 5-star Defender, which I have not yet jumped into, right? You will have an option to pick between Cecilia, Cowley, Leclis, Aaron, Glacia, Zenith, Seer, Arkan, Diomeron, and Kaelin. By far, right now, the best option for any new player starting the game right now is to pick Seer. There's no reason for you to pick anyone else. I know you might look at Cecilia and she has the tile absorption, you might look at Cowley or Glacia and they can be strong too, but Seer's power is invaluable because right now we are in this meta that is all about the first 2 rounds. The first 2 rounds is going to determine who can win the battle in PvP. And Seer is strong right there because long battles, yes, she's going to be weak. She has insane amount of damage reduction for the first 24 turns, right? At the beginning of the battle, usually within the first 2 rounds. And this is what makes her value go really high up. I would say if you don't really like her, I know some people get turned off because she's a lolly or whatever. The second choice is gonna be a bit tough. You can't pick Bane right here. I'm gonna say probably Kaelin. Kaelin is gonna be perhaps slightly better than Glacia because she's cheaper. She doesn't really need plus 15 like Glacia do. I won't recommend picking Cecilia at all because you can get her at plus 0 and she can still do her role. So I say overall, go for Seer. You won't go wrong with her. Okay, and let's jump into the 5-star supporter. Now, I will say this again, if you don't pick Vinaka, like what is wrong with you? Like what is wrong with you? If you don't pick Vinaka, seriously, you are putting yourself at a handicap. Because if you start in 2021, the only way for you to beat the older meta players is to pick Vinaka here and have a head start. A lot of people that started the game about 1 or 2 years ago, they are still building their SOR and they don't want to switch to Vinaka because of budget issues and they are still trying to complete their 4 Magician. So if you are new, use this to your advantage, alright? Pick Vinaka. You're going to have a heads up compared to a lot of other veteran players, and this will give you a competitive edge in the PvP in the arena. Even though a lot of the veteran players have more units than you, if you pick the crucial supporter right here, she will push you through to Diamond, Crystal, and further beyond, assuming that you have all your other warriors as well, right? Vinaka is going to be the best pick for most players starting the game in this year. And moving on into the last one, we have the 5-star Magician. Now this doesn't really matter that much in my opinion, but it's going to come down to between 2 different units, which is Velter and Frisha. Now even though Velter is a Magician, I would say Velter is more of a tank, alright? He's gonna use his tanking capability to try to increase his HP, etc. The problem is, buff prohibition is everywhere right now, right? Which is what counters Velter heavily. Is he bad? No, I don't think so. I would say he's still really good. It's just that he's very rune dependent, you need really strong runes on him. And I have a feeling in the future, he's gonna be slightly better because his set effect is probably one of the best, which can give him the full HP boost, and that will only come once the server merge comes, which is in 1 week's time. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums up everything. I'm gonna say for this one, go for Velter as your priority, followed by Frisha. Now again, feel free to, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer to them individually because I'm sure there are players that say, okay, why not pick Eldora from this list? She can help you with World Boss, etc. The thing is, I already asked players to pick Seer, and in most cases, Seer can deal with Arcstar much more easily than Eldora does, right? And Eldora is only good in Dagdaron, and Dagdaron is more of an endgame kind of world boss that you're gonna need Katarine anyways. So I'm not sure going that route is gonna be better. As a new player, you want to focus on your Legendaries first because those are the ones that's gonna make the most impact in your overall PvP battles. I'm just pinpointing out what I think is the best, and it's hard for me to give like a valid reason on why this is better than that or that is better than that. Now if you guys are new, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because I'll be making more videos, more guides, especially the next video I intend to make is about the current Vinaka meta, and in that video I'm going to tell you guys more in depth on why Vinaka and how she is considered probably the more budget-friendly option right now in terms of making a team comp out of. So yeah, make sure you guys turn on the notifications. Stay tuned for that. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.